Managing moderators can. Okay, managing moderators. All right. All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Pint Time with Backpacker Mike. I decided to go live on YouTube today just for like maybe 20 minutes or so. Just to give you guys a couple beer reviews and talk about underrated international places that you may want to try or travel to that don't get a whole lot of tourists or stuff, or either that it also comes up or people are starting to come there and so I thought I would cover some of them with you guys today. But first, let me show you guys the beers that I'm going to try for you today. So if you're new to Pint Time, I've done live on YouTube a couple years ago. And then I went back to like Instagram and Facebook. But I think I might just come back to YouTube and leave Instagram alone. Their algorithms and lives aren't working out very great. So anyway, I think I'm going to come back here to YouTube. So hello again. And so basically, if you're not familiar with Pint Time is basically where I try some great craft beers for you guys and I score them. And I also give you some information about travel, whether it's cool places to go, et cetera, et cetera. Also, sometimes I was a budget traveler, so I'll also teach you about how to budget travel and things like that as well. Also, sometimes I'll have friends of mine that I met while traveling or other people on the live show, and I'll ask them questions or we'll discuss an adventure that they took or whatever. So there you go. A brief bit of a synopsis of Pine Time. So let's get into it. I'm on episode 235. That's right. I've been doing this for a while on Facebook and Instagram. Episode 235 is underrated international destinations. So first, let me get into the beers that I'm going to try for you. I got a Left Hand Brewing Company Zesty Dream Nitro. I just did this over on TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, please give me a follow over there. I upload my TikToks also here on my YouTube channel. So we'll give this one a try. I'm going to get through these two beer reviews real quick, and then I'm going to get into some of these underrated international destinations. So if you're into craft beer, give me a follow, subscribe, or if you're into travel, or both, like me, which is why I'm doing the show. Part of the reason why I'm doing the show. Very lemony on the nose for sure. All right, here we go. Cheers, bro, slancha, and skål for my Nordic friends. You know who you are. Yeah, not a big fan of this one. Still, I thought maybe it would, for some reason taste a little better on the backside, but not so much. There we go. There's a hard pour for you. See if this changes the complexity any at all. Yeah, it just makes it even worse. Unfortunately, not a fan of this. It's like some, I don't know, some lemon cleaning product meets beer. I don't know. It's just not very good. It's not. You get a funky sort of lemon flavor in the back of the palate. Plus, the lemon just tastes weird. Now I know it's a Meyer lemon. Those should be a little bit sweeter. There's not much sweetness in this. So yeah, not a big fan of this one, but we'll have to go with it. I'm gonna score this a 4. Actually, Left Hand Brewing, and I love a lot of Left Hand Brewing stuff. If you're not familiar with them, they're out of Longmont, Colorado. But yeah, this one comes in at 5.5% on the Richter scale, or the ABV, alcohol by volume. But I am just not a big fan, so we'll get rid of that one. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, Rhett? I feel like that's my friend Mike Crit. But anyway, appreciate you stopping by, man. So the next one I'm going to try for you guys too is by 903 Brewers. It is called Pucker Up. Love the little artwork there. It's called Pucker Up. This one is a Berliner Weiss beer, actually, of Berliner Weiss style ale with lemon. It comes in at 5.5% on the Richter scale as well. It says it goes well with salmon, Caesar salad, lavender cream brulee, and paper planes. I don't know. But anyway, I've never had a 903 Brewers before, and they are out of Sherman, Texas. So let's get into this one and see what this one's all about. Very heavy lemon on the nose again as well. So let's see. That one is way better than the left hand nitro. Awesome, glad you're good. You look pretty cool, man. Hey, thanks, I appreciate it. uh, so yeah, this one is way better than the other one. Than the left hand on 903 Brewer is pretty good. I can't complain. It's very lemony. It's just straight lemon. I wish there was a little bit of sweetness in there. It's almost like lemonade minus the sugar, but it's not too bad at all. So I'm gonna go with 7. I'm gonna give 903 Brewers a 7 for that one, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest of it in here. And we'll get into the show real quick. So I'm just going to do like a quick, like 30-40 minute live here where I'm going to talk about some things. And then we'll go from there. Hey, Kathy, good to see you on. Jesus loves y'all. Yes, Jesus loves you too. Family Toy Review. And Chink, man, is really playing himself in the background. Yeah, no, right? That's me right there. It's from my YouTube channel that I'm on right now. So I just play the some of my travel videos behind me there on the monitor. So you can find those right here on my YouTube or on my Facebook. I believe some of these are also on my Instagram as well. All right, let's get into episode 235. That's right, I've been doing this for a while. Underrated international destinations that you should probably check out. One of them is Belfast, Ireland. Belfast, Ireland. I was actually in Belfast. I loved it. Went to the Titanic Museum and did all that stuff. Now, I was a budget backpacker, so I try to do things as cheap as possible. So, I was staying in hospitals while I was there, and cheap hotels. But you definitely can't pass up, to see the a chance to see the where the Titanic was built and stuff. So very cool thing to see. But Belfast has pretty much emerged from its kind of troubled past with all of its political issues with the IRA and all of that stuff. But it's now become a great destination for unique things to see and do, like the Titanic thing. So you can see political murals. They're still up there. I saw them when I was passing through. For those of you who might not know, Northern Ireland is part of the UK still. And then you have regular, Ireland below that. And it used to be where they had actually guards. They had border patrol, things like that, where you had to pull through, and you have to, you used to have to show your passport and all that type of stuff. You don't have to do that anymore. They have an autonomous border. Basically, you can pass and go however you wish. And the guard gates are all up and nobody's manning them anymore. So it's real easy to visit there. However, just know that if you start in, say, Dublin and you go north, you have to exchange some money for pound because they use the pound in the north and not the euro like Ireland does. But definitely, you got to check out Belfast. There's so many cool things to do there. And even though it's part of the UK, you can still find some of that cool Irish charm, there in Belfast as well. Hey Mike, ever been to Germany? Yes, absolutely. I was in Berlin. Germany. Absolutely loved it. Then I took a bus from there to Warsaw, Poland, and then to Krakow, and then went and saw Auschwitz 1 and 2. So yeah, I've been to Berlin. Definitely want to see more of Germany. One of my best friends and backpacker brothers, Yoshi, he's from Paderborn, Germany, and he's wanting me to come out there and visit him. So I definitely have to make my way back to Germany and do that again. So, all right, the next one on the list is Malayla. Malayla, hopefully I said that right. Malayla. It's in Lesotho. Lesotho is a small little, sort of mountain kingdom that is located in South Africa. And I've been to South Africa. I was in Cape Town. I was in Soweto. I was in Joburg, Pilanesberg, and a few other little towns in between. and absolutely fell in love with South Africa. I absolutely loved it. I wish I had time to go to Lesotho when I was there, though, but it's basically like in the middle of South Africa. It's just about north of Joburg, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours or so north of Joburg, and I'm just guessing on that, so don't hold me to that. But it's not easy to get to, but it's definitely a great place to go see. You can go camping there, you can go hiking there, you can do a bunch of different things there in Lesotho. And the Basutu people there are just amazing people. They're some of the most friendly people that you will ever meet on your travels around the world, basically in Lesotho. Cool, just come across your live. You see my cool guy. Where are you from? Oh, cool. Thank you. New to the live. This is the first time I'm back on YouTube doing lives. I've been doing Facebook and Instagram mostly, and I did a few on YouTube, but I came back now. So thank you so much. Originally from the United States, from Ohio, the state of Ohio, and currently based out of Florida. So I am based out of Florida. I am not traveling at the moment because I am a caregiver for my 97-year-old World War II vet father. So I started this Pint Time series while I was traveling. My first Pint Time was in Malta when I interviewed a guy there named Gary in Malta who was from Slovakia, maybe. Very nice guy, very cool guy. Enjoyed that interview. And then the second Pint Time I did, I interviewed uh, uh, Colin Dillon, who was the very first ever Aboriginal police officer in New South Wales, Australia, and I interviewed him in Australia. So I decided to revive decided to revive Pint Time when the pandemic hit, and I've been doing it ever since. So there you go. Oh, Slovenia. I was in Koper, Slovenia. Beautiful city there. Right there, like a fishing sort of fishing town. I sat right there in Koper and watched the fishing boats come in and all of that stuff. So yeah, cheers to Slovenia. Really awesome, man. I enjoyed Slovenia. I was on my way to Pula, Croatia when I stopped in Slovenia on the bus. Took the bus. So yeah, very cool. What do you know about Kenya? Not much about Kenya. I haven't been to Kenya. I've only been to South Africa. I had these grand ambitions when I was in South Africa to go north of South Africa into like Zimbabwe. I even tried to get into Ethiopia at one point when I was leaving um, Spain, but or Greece, sorry, but it just never worked out. So hopefully one of these days I will get to Kenya. I'd love to see Kenya. I'd love to go to Zimbabwe and various other, Ethiopia and various other countries in Africa. The only countries I was in Africa was Morocco and South Africa. But very beautiful country and beautiful people for sure. For sure. All right, so the next one I have on the list is Bay Islands in Honduras. Bay Islands in Honduras. And these islands have escaped the rampant commercialization of, say, Cancun and other cities around it. And sometimes, us as like budget backpackers, you go somewhere and you're like, man, there's so many tourists here, right? So we got to find the other off the beaten path, and then we want to shoot our travel videos and we want to talk about it, kind of like I do on my show. And then before you know it, you got tourists coming to that area too, and you got to try to find another new place. It's a vicious cycle per se. But anyway, the Bay Islands has somehow avoided that so far. They have white sandy beaches like we have here on the west coast of Florida, which I absolutely love. Um, they also have some amazing food, local hospitality, and it looks like a picture perfect paradise. Palm trees and the beautiful Gulf of Mexico and all that stuff. So very cool. Honduras wasn't even on my list, but it may be on my list now. My leftover bucket list. All right, number 12 is another one that I've been to. I didn't really spend time there. I just had a bit of a bus stop there, a bit of a layover on the bus coming from France, and that is Bilbao, Spain. Bilbao, Spain. Spain has many popular destinations. I've been to Spain many a times. I love Spain very much. I walked the Camino de Santiago across España twice, and absolutely loved it. So they have a bunch of different spots that you can see in Spain and all over Spain, and I highly recommend going to Spain and checking it out. But Bilbao is in the Basque region. It's north of Barcelona, and it's right up on the sea there, and well, the English Channel per se. And it's a beautiful little city, and you'll have to check it out. They got amazing food, culture, museums, beautiful plazas. Plazas are huge in Europe. For those of you who are not in Europe, plazas are huge in Europe. They're just these big, beautiful plazas. Actually, I think one of the biggest plazas in Europe is actually in Pula, Croatia, I believe. And I was at that one as well, or it might have been Trieste. Maybe it was Trieste, Italy. I don't know. I can't remember now. But anyway, Bilbao, Spain. Highly recommend going to Spain. It's a beautiful deal there. All right. The next one on the list is Calgary, Canada. And I live I'm just south of Calgary. So, but I've never been to Calgary. I've been to Toronto, Canada, and I've been to Hamilton, Canada, and I've been to Windsor, Canada, but never Calgary. But it's a beautiful city with lots to offer, like parks, biking trails if you go there in the summertime. If you're really into the winter thing, there's a lot of winter sports that you can do there depending on the time of the year you go. You'll meet some nice locals, some cool pubs, restaurants, and food options. You'll have all different kinds of food from all around the world, pretty much there, kind of like we do here in the United States as well. Some really cool museums and more. Calgary is one of the oldest cities in Canada, so really cool to go see. There used to be a point in time when us here in the United States, all we needed was our driver's license to just cross the border and go into Canada, and them the same. And then after 9/11, that all changed. So now we all need passports just to cross the border. All right, the next one on the list is Puebla, Mexico. Puebla, Mexico. It's just a few hours outside of Mexico City. And Mexico City is a very cool city, one that I want to go see. I've done a ton of research on it, and some of my other backpacker friends have traveled there before, and it just looks like a really cool experience. You'll find the historic city of Pueblo outside of Mexico City with beautiful colonial architecture. It's an old colonial town from way back when the Spanish had control of that area per se. Beautiful weather and delicious food. You can't go wrong with the food in Mexico, right? I mean, I think everybody loves Mexican food. At least I would think anyway. This city is one that you shouldn't miss, and it's in the city. It's the city where Cinco de Mayo actually originated from. So, for those who love history, this is definitely a stop for you. Puebla, Mexico. Puebla, Mexico. All right, this is another one that's in Eastern Europe, and it's not Nongst, Nongst, Donsk, maybe Donsk, Donsk. It's so hard to say. Gdansk, Gdansk, maybe Poland. Anyway, this city was turned to ashes actually during World War II. Yeah, Gdansk, that's it. Gdansk. But I have a feeling that the G is silent. I could be wrong, but maybe it's just Donsk. But anyway, this city was turned to ashes during World War II. But most of the old structures have been perfectly rebuilt to basically signify what it looked like back then. So very cool. And it's easy to spend lots of time wandering around the old historic quarter that is located there. And you can get there easily by train from either Berlin or Warsaw. And it's definitely a must see. If you can pronounce the name right. Be like, where are you going? I don't know. I'm going to Gdansk or Gdansk. Anyway, sometimes, we just can't get it right when it comes to the words. All right, the next one on the list is Quito, Ecuador. Quito, Ecuador. Quito. Ecuador. This city surrounds the Pichincha, which is basically an ancient like snow-capped volcano, and the city is built around the volcano. The historic downtown was among the first to be designated a UNICEF World Heritage Site. It was one of the first sites to be listed that way. From here, you can also catch a flight to the Galapagos Islands, because that would be an amazing adventure in the Galapagos Islands, right? So you could catch a flight from there, and there's also so much history there because obviously it's a UNICEF World Heritage Site. Museums, culture to see here, and definitely needs to be on your bucket list for sure. Ecuador. All right, the next one on the list is definitely another country that I want to visit because I've done the Camino twice. You can also do the Camino from this country on the Portuguese way, and that is Lisbon, Portugal. It's a decent budget traveler spot as well when it comes to Europe because depending on what currency you're coming from, but here in the U.S., on the U.S. dollar, we lose a little bit to the euro. But Lisbon is a good option for a budget backpacker because the cost of goods there is a little bit less expensive than other places in Europe. So it's a decent budget traveler spot to visit. So it also has a rich multicultural history here. Also, awesome music and beautiful vistas where you can watch the sunset over the Atlantic Ocean. The food and the culture is amazing. Enjoy amazing wines. I mean, Portugal is known for wines. That's where Porto came from. Porto wine was basically created there. And you could take a sailboat ride and more around. Just think of, beachy, fun, friendly type atmosphere there. So you can even walk the Camino from here on the Portuguese way, and it takes you north. It'll take you about 2 weeks or so to walk the Camino north to get to Santiago de Compostela, Spain, where you can see the remains of St. James the Apostle. So there you have it, Lisbon, Portugal. All right, let's go on to the next one, and that is Grenada, Nicaragua. It's one of the oldest colonial towns in Central America, actually. It's history. It's for history. It's a place for history lovers to go, and I absolutely love history, so it'd be really cool to go there and check it out from the old colonial architecture, museums, and more. Try doing it during the off season, though, because this is one of the other places that is sort of becoming a tourist haven now where they're going to. And so if you go during peak season, you might find it a little bit too touristy for you. So just try to go in the off season, and it'll be a lot better experience for you. Also, if you're a coffee lover, this is definitely a place that you want to go and check out all the different coffees that you can get from Nicaragua. All right, the next one on the list, and I'm actually going to try to get through all of this before I head off to Facebook. All right. Next one is Stellenbosch in South Africa. Another South African one. South Africa is a beautiful country, but South Africa is mostly known for safaris and various other things, right? Well, it's a beautiful place to go visit, and most people don't realize that the wine industry in Cape Town, South Africa, especially, is very good. They have some of the best wines in the world, and a lot of people, seek out South African wine, especially from the Cape Town region. When I was in Cape Town, I saw a lot about the wineries. You could get amazing wine any place, local wine, any place around there. But yeah, it's very beautiful. And you just head out of Cape Town there and you just follow basically the ocean road and stop at some of the amazing wineries, explore the beautiful wine country. Take your time in some of the towns. They have some really cool places to stay. I've done an episode before on Facebook about that. about Cape Town and their winery. You can just take the main road out. I think it's called Ocean Road, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Uh, but anyway, it goes all the way around the Cape of Cape Town and comes around to the other side, and you'll drive through all of the amazing wine country there and stay in some cool Airbnbs or hotels or whatever and just kind of enjoy the experience. Take your time. I mean, you could drive it in a day or two and then turn around, come back, but I recommend taking a good amount of time so that you can go ahead and check it out because it is a beautiful area. All right, the next one on the list is Tangier. Tangier, Morocco. I was in Morocco. I was in Marrakesh, Morocco, and I was in Escouy. And part of me loved Morocco, and another part of me was just like, oh man, it's just one of those situations that you have to be prepared for because you got a lot of people trying to make, a living, and everybody wants a little something for doing something for you, and I don't know, it can be a bit sketchy at times, especially around the souks and things like that. But as far as culture wise, food, amazing scenery, all that type of stuff. Morocco was beautiful. But Tangier, Morocco. Now, Tangier used to be like a huge expat area for a bunch of, writers and musicians and things like that, like in the 1900s, early 1900s. But it has gone through a bit of a period of urban renewal and has sort of like come into a different sort of path or different kind of vibe when you go there now. So this is a city that can overwhelm some travelers, though, for sure. I mean, it's become a beautiful beach destination, so you can just kind of hang out on the beach there if you like. But it's become it could be overwhelming for someone new who's traveling. Like if you've never traveled before, especially by yourself solo, wouldn't recommend going to Tangier or Morocco, period, actually, because it will just be a little too much for you. Once get some experience under your belt with traveling, especially solo, then you might really enjoy it. But Tangier is just one of those cities that you just climb into and you just go with the flow. You just go with the flow, you find what you like, you say no a lot when you want to say no when you don't want anything to do with the locals or whatever they're trying to sell you. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, so some travelers may feel overwhelmed, but I just recommend going with the flow. I felt a little bit overwhelmed in Marrakesh, and I kind of chilled out a little bit after the fact. So all right, let's move on to the next one, and that is Montevideo. Excuse me, Montevideo, Uruguay. Montevideo, Uruguay. Close to Buenos Aires, actually. It's close to Buenos Aires. Yeah, I've heard that a lot about Egypt, actually. And I was trying to go to Egypt. I was trying to get to Cairo for a couple days. Also, when I was leaving Greece. But yeah, I heard Egypt can be the same way. It's just like you just have to go with the flow and say no a lot. No. But anyway, so this one is close to Buenos Aires, and it's often overlooked because it's so close to Buenos Aires, but it has a lot to offer with its fusion of colonial and Art Deco architecture and interesting history there also in Montevideo. It's also a lot more relaxed than Buenos Aires, actually, and Buenos Aires can be a bit sketchy at times as well when it comes to safety. Uh, it just depends on where you're at or what barrio you're in or whatever. But also, if you love steak, if you're a steak lover like myself, this is also a great place for you to go. Uruguay has some pretty amazing steak. All right, the next one on the list, and then I got one more after that, and that is Hanoi, Vietnam. Hanoi, Vietnam has come a long way from what it was a long time ago. Worth the hassle, right? Yeah, exactly. Egypt has amazing history. Yeah, it would be worth the hassle for sure. You just have to kind of work through it. But Hanoi never ceases to leave a crazy impression on all of those who visit it. And Vietnam is definitely on my list. When I was in Thailand, I started really looking into like Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia, uh, not for that trip, but to come back to and experience. So it would be really cool. Vietnam, I think, would be amazing and very inexpensive, very budget friendly, for sure. But it's an exciting, bustling city, and it's filled with amazing. Me either. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. Turn the mic up. We back? Okay, it must be something in the microphone here. Then maybe I didn't have that thing in tight enough. Uh, all right. All right, so again, Dakar could be a bit sketchy. It can be a bit overwhelming for new travelers, etc. Yeah, party, just come back. And but again, in this city, I just highly recommend that you just go with the flow. You just go with the flow and take it as it comes. I've seen a lot of backpackers go here. I believe I even watched an Anthony Bourdain episode where he was in Dakar, Senegal, eating a lot of street food and various other things. So it's just another one of those where you just have to kind of go with the flow, experience the amazing culture, and the food and the history and everything that Senegal has to offer. I've met plenty of Senegalese people. Actually, when I was in Morocco, when I was in Marrakesh, it was the World Cup, and Senegal was in the World Cup, and they won a match, and the Senegalese people were running, waving their flag around through the Medina there in. With this microphone here would be my guess. Nope. All right, here we go. Let's do this. There, maybe. All right, good now. All right, yeah. So it's got to be something that's microphone. I'll have to get a new microphone. This one I've had for a while. Oh, that's a horrible beer. Anyway, so have any of you guys visited an underrated place that you'd like to share? Go ahead and share it in the comments below. And if you guys have any underrated place that maybe a short Oh, yeah, maybe a short. I don't know. It's weird though because I don't ever touch this microphone except to like put it up. So I don't know. Weird. Technology, man. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Not much you can do about it. I just realized some of that isn't in there. Like my Osasuna thing. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Adidas Shorty for all the conversation. That is awesome. Please come back on the next live. I do this every Saturday. So look for me on Saturdays, and I'll probably change up my promo video and start putting those on. But um, so yeah, I appreciate you popping on. And Kathy, always thank you for coming on to YouTube. I appreciate that. Find the small out of the way spots. Yeah, exactly. I sub. See you next week. Awesome. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I'll be here next Saturday. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I truly appreciate it. And as always, peace, love, and let's continue to experience this beautiful world together. And I'll see you guys next time on Pint Time with Backpacker Mike. Peace.